Hello everyone. You may have noticed the stream's been delayed, of course, with F1 qualifying, but we're here for Q3, and the big shocker: the two Red Bulls out of the session. Jackson out in Q1 will start the race from 17th. Wild Dog, who crashed out, did make it into Q3, but sadly won't go any higher than 10th place. And at the moment, it's Jackson and Joffrey who look quick in the AlphaTauri and Aston Martin respectively. Imagine those two are the favourites for pole position. Don't also discount the Mercedes of Sadistic. And also, last week's race winner as well, JB Bowie. Pole to victory in Monaco. Good bit of redemption after Japan. But it's Jackson then who's looking in very good form at the moment, but has got some very fierce competition behind them. Joffrey also out of the pits. So let's see as they make their way down for the Italian Grand Prix when he has left the session. We'll hope they'll rejoin shortly. In the meantime, Jackson powering their way through. One of the quickest tracks to date on the F1 calendar. Expect to see a lot of overtaking, particularly down the start-finish straight in the race. I wonder if anyone will play the slipstream game. At the moment, Jackson all on their own. Scouser, of course, actually did get a podium as well back in Japan, remember. There's Jackson then will start their first flying lap as they come out the exit of Parabolica. And goes almost off. I thought they were going onto the grass there for a second. But they power their way down, dropping down into second gear. Very neat and tidy there, runs over the curb nicely, a little bit wide. In the exit of turn 2. Now down the Curva Grande. Before they get to the Del Roger chicane. I believe that's the hit. That is what it is. Now Fudi, first and second Lesmo. The car just wants to steer to the left. But very nicely, this is a very neat and tidy lap here for Jackson in the AlphaTauri. Keeps the left hand side but will move over right, ready for Ascari. Don't take too much curb, and they don't. A little bit untidy there. Look like it's caught a little bit too much curb. So far doesn't look like a bad lap at all here for Jackson. Looking to take pole position. Of course, AlphaTauri's home race, of course, along with Ferrari. And we'll keep to the shortest distance of the line. There it is then, a 1:20.8. Let's see where Joffrey is then in the Aston Martin. We have got a yellow flag, and that's for a Mercedes, I think. That would, of course, be Sadistic. As Joffrey through Parabolica. Let's see where they are in comparison to Jackson. These two have been the favourites throughout qualifying so far, especially with the Red Bulls out of play, but 8 tenths back from the AlphaTauri. But it is actually Busselus then. Butzelus, or I don't know how you pronounce it. Butzels, I don't know. 1:27 though is the fastest lap for them. Next across the line, well, would have been the Sadistic King actually. Saw them making a slight error. But goes third fastest though. Half a second back from the fastest lap at the moment. As we see JB Bowie making her way out onto the track. Where can they put that Ferrari? They power their way on the outlap. Be crazy doing a 1:42, but of course that was a slower lap, of course. Still haven't seen Swinney. Swinney hasn't reconnected just yet. So we'll wait and see if they rejoin. Scouser coming out as well, and his sister AlphaTauri. Joffrey coming in as well. Don't think anyone's doing back-to-back push laps, it seems. I think P Crazy is backed out from a second attempt as well. So we will go back on board then with JB Bowie, who starts their first flying lap then. Through the first chicane. Neat and tidy at the moment. As now they exit through the Curva Grande. On board with the Ferrari driver. Again, very neat and tidy. Don't want to hit those orange curbs. You send the car right off balance if you do. Through the second Lesmo as well. Again, they all seem very planted and very stable, these cars at the moment. So they've gone through a lot of effort for their setups. And through Ascari. Takes a little bit more curb than Jackson did. And looks a little neater and tidier. So good stuff at the moment here for Bowie. But is it going to be enough to challenge that 120.7 from the McLaren? From Butzel's there, but the answer is no, it's only fifth fastest. Be Crazy is back on a much more improved lap at the moment in the Alpine. And loses the rear of the car, but thankfully keeps the lap valid still. Snap of oversteer on the exit of Ascari. But certainly would have given up a lot of time there. See there, even wants to understeer through Parabolica. Crazy fight in the car, still remains sixth fastest. Scouser then, one AlphaTauri in second. Where's the other going to appear? Swinney is rejoined as well. Scouser goes fourth fastest, 7/10 back from their teammate. Swinney, as I mentioned, back on track in this final 4 minutes of qualifying. See, they're just slightly weaving. Get some tyre temperature. Bowie should be returning back into pits, and they do. iLink's piece out on track as well. As here goes car 74 then, for their attempt for provisional pole. And as I say that, the McLaren Butzel's is back out on track. Makes their way through, understeers massively through turn 2. That's going to cost them time all the way down the Curva Grande. And into the chicane coming up as well. So this isn't the best first sector, it's the 27-0. So Swinney have a bit of time to make up here. Through the Lesmo as they go. Neat and tidy. DRS opened. And like Jackson, they keep to the right hand side throughout the whole of the corner there. And you can see very tentative coming through Ascari. But doesn't get a snap of oversteer as we saw there with P Crazy. And might get a little bit of a distance toe from the McLaren there. Not much, but any little bit will do. And I'm very surprised teammates have not tried slipstreaming one another. Can really be powerful here. Let's see where Swinney ends up. Swinney goes ahead of their teammate by a tenth of a second. As we watch then the pole sitter who caught the curb there, and that sent the car a little bit or unsettled the car slightly. Already through the chicane. Might have lost time there. We'll see what this first sector looks like. They are slightly improving in the first sector. 3/100ths of a second. That's the gap there. 6/100ths of a second. So any improvements are good. But Sells has just gone wide through both Lesmo corners actually. Second one not so bad, but the first one not as amazing. P Crazy is retired, so the best they'll start is 8th. 2 temps up in the middle sector then. Jackson has just made their way out as well. Someone's had a spin, and I think that is one of the Ferraris, and that is Swinney. Swinney, who's lost their front wing, so they won't be going again. As we go back on board with the McLaren. Through the Parabolica they go. Keeps to the left-hand side, interestingly enough, there. And doesn't improve. Lost time in the final sector. Now, can they do back-to-back laps? We shall see. Not quite sure. Joffrey not improving so much. They might get another opportunity for a second lap if they're quick enough to get to the line. Sadistic King then. Almost 2 temps up in the first sector. Swinney has retired, understandably so. They'll start from 6th. At the moment they're ahead of their teammate, but Bowie is on another lap at the moment. Jackson just has started their next run. We'll keep an eye on the McLaren as well. See if they're going again. They did have enough time to get one in. I think Joffrey's going to run out of time as well. And I think Joffrey's just made it to the line. So Joffrey either timed that really well or got very lucky there. But Joffrey will have another lap then. So we got 7 cars doing a lap. Here's the first one then from Sadistic. As they cross the line, it's only 3rd fastest for them. JB Bowie then, next one to cross the line. Keeps to the shortest distance, moves up to 4th fastest. Good lap from them. What about then the McLaren? Goes even faster, 1:20.3 then. That's their provisional pole time. Next will be, I believe, the Alpha of iLinks piece, who has invalidated. There's a 10th and a half for Scouser. A 10th for the bit for Jackson. But has got to find half a second then. But Jackson still might get a distant tow from their teammate out in front. Here then comes the first of the 2 Alpha Tauris. Scouser up first then. As they cross the line. Stays 5th fastest. Didn't improve by much. What about Jackson then? Can Jackson take that pole position? They get close but remains 2nd and on the front row then. Last one then is Joffrey. Joffrey hasn't improved in that middle sector. Can they move that Aston Martin up by having a really solid final sector? As they cross line, and I believe remained where they stood. So the McLaren of Butzel's then on provisional pole, or sorry, on pole position for the Italian Grand Prix. Spoiling the Italian hopes then is the Belgian driver ahead of Jackson. Sadistic in 3rd, Bowie in 4th for Ferrari. Ahead of Scouser, Joffrey, Swinney, P Crazy, and iLinks piece. The 9 drivers there. And Joffrey confirming a pretty rotten Q3 for them. And we'll see what they can do in the race that is to come shortly. Yes, then we await for the race. I think I'm going to refer to McLaren as Melios now, because it's a much easier name for me to remember. So, Melios then on provisional pole. What will the 2 Red Bulls do as well? We haven't mentioned them much, of course, because they've not been in Q3 at all. But Wild Dog in 10th place, with the championship leader down in plumb last. Not quite sure 100% why they didn't do a lap. I did catch on. They didn't do a lap in Q1. So I'm not sure if something happened. I don't think they had any kind of qualifying ban or anything like that. So not 100% sure. Zamini did have a Q3 ban from Monaco, of course. Didn't make it into Q3 anyways. And I don't even think he's in the race, I believe. I could be wrong. Either way, though, we'll see what the two Red Bulls can do. As we wait then for the timer. There it is, 30 seconds then, before we get underway with some racing. See what they do. Interesting to see here how much downforce all the drivers are running. You don't really want to be running too much here on this track, but will anybody drop how low will they drop the downforce? And will it be more difficult to follow cars? We'll see. Right then, away we go then. And we should remind you, oh, well, I'll actually go through all of the tyres since we missed Q2. Top three then, Melios, Jackson, Sadistic, medium tyres for them. Rest of them soft tyres that we saw in Q3. And Wild Dog, despite crashing, because they made it into Q3, they start on the medium tyres as well. There's the tyre strategies. Should be a one-stop strategy from mediums to soft tyres. And vice versa, of course. So they're starting on the soft tyres. Behind them, Zamini is in the session, apologies. Starts on medium tyres. Kid in 12th soft tyres, as well as Moody for Mercedes. Then Warrior and R28 mediums for them. Snipe Hunter mediums. And someone's got off the track there. That is the Alpine of Warrior, I believe. And then Leclerc, the championship leader, a long way back though on the soft tyres. I'll tell you what, Leclerc does need to catch up very quickly, because as we've seen, and I believe they are, if you're too far back and keep the pack waiting on the grid, you can be subject to a penalty. Snipe Hunter's got to catch up as well. There's the drivers make their way through Ascari. Big problem though for Melios. By starting on pole, they have no slipstream. That could make them vulnerable down into the chicane, as they all weave very excessively to get tyre temperature. Oh, and Jackson's gone straight into the back of Melios. They've both been disqualified. That's a rather bizarre incident. Hope that's not a sign of things to come between those two. But that will have hurt them. Moody and Warrior has also been disqualified for a similar incident. So, sure, Melios and Jackson might lose a bit of tyre temperature for that. So either way though, Sadistic, they're all close to the grid anyway, so it's fine. You saw there the one-stop strategies as well for the soft runners, as Leclerc, the championship leader, the final row of the grid then, and we will get underway for the race. 27 laps here as the lights come on. And we are underway, and it looks like a very good start actually for the Ferrari of Bowie behind. Alongside to have a go at Jackson in the AlphaTauri. Jackson with a horrific start. Sadistic trying to go up the inside of the McLaren here as well. Backs out of it. Melios goes wide though and goes off the track though. Will they lose positions? Joffrey's got a 3-second time penalty, but has gained a position in doing so. Now I believe Joffrey will have to give that position up, and does so. Sadistic moves ahead. JB Bowie is under pressure from P Crazy as they fight through the Curva Grande. You saw that Melios got a 3-second time penalty for the same incident as well. Bowie's gone ahead as well. Going wide there is Jackson. Jackson having a horrific start, and that is the Ferrari almost getting spun round as a result, as well as the McLaren. Jackson having a horrific start from second place down to 10th already. Wild Dog is down in 12th place, lost the position at the start as well. And there is Jackson going wheel to wheel with the Alfa Romeo of Zamini at the moment, and their Kid is waiting to get involved as well, and is trying to get involved as well on the Alfa Romeo, trying to be as opportunistic as they can. Goes round the outside and up into 10th place. Zamini drops down as well. Leclerc up to 15th at the moment, but a really chaotic start though. But Melios holds on to the lead, but with a 3-second penalty already ahead of Sadistic and Joffrey as well. Joffrey also getting a 3-second time penalty. the two outbraking themselves early into turn one. And we'll see how they go though. But the Ferrari already having a look then on the Aston Martin. You saw their Scouser having a look as well. The Alpine defending towards the inside at the moment. And there you can see Bowie backs out. There's contact between these two. This is Scouser on P Crazy. P Crazy getting a bit forced out there, but either way up there as that's Sadistic and Joffrey. Sadistic, I don't know if they've made an error or not, but Joffrey's capitalised on it and up into second place. So the Aston Martin trying to make ground already and have separated themselves from Bowie. I'm not sure what happened to Sadistic, but they're not a huge fan of this track, as they've mentioned, as that is Leclerc up to 11th place ahead of Zamini. The Red Bull moving ahead of their teammate, and moving ahead of the Alfa Romeo as well. So Leclerc on a mission at the moment. No DRS, of course, has been enabled. Melior's out by 1.6 seconds at the moment. Good start for them in that McLaren. And I wonder if Sadistic is struggling for warm-up on those medium tyres against all the soft runners ahead of them. Someone's had a spin. That's a McLaren, I think, of Kidd. They're back out on track at the moment. Rejoins nicely. That's Moody on Warrior, I believe. And up into 14th place. This is Bowie on Sadistic King. Can't find a way through. Jackson's moved ahead of iLink's piece as well. DRS has been enabled. And Bowie almost pushing the Mercedes along there. That's how much of a lack of grip they've got. Now Scouser's having a look on Bowie as well. Wild Dog has moved ahead of Zamini. Jackson ahead of iLink's piece as well in their recovery drive. But not able to make a move just yet. This is iLink's piece, I think, going wheel to wheel, or thought was going to go wheel to wheel with the Alpha Tauri until they backed off at the last minute. You see Joffrey is almost holding up the pack here. We've got a train of cars behind them. This is now Swinney on P Crazy, 6th place then for the Ferrari. The Ferrari's starting to move up as well. Leclerc's having a look at iLink's piece as well for 10th place. Bowie's still pressurising the Mercedes at the moment. Sadistic King just not able to keep this Ferrari behind for the time being, but of course the tyres will switch over after their pit stops. It'll be Sadistic the one likely to put the pressure on the Ferrari. Leclerc moves ahead of iLink's piece then and up to 9th place. This is JB Bowie on Sadistic King. Once again though, as Bowie gets up to 8th gear, just runs out of straight line speed to attack the Mercedes. Sadistic getting very close to the back of Joffrey as well. This is now Leclerc and Jackson. Red Bull Senior against Red Bull Junior with iLink's piece right behind as well. Now trying to go round the Curb Grande. We've seen Vettel and Alonso doing that before. And this one looks a little bit cleaner. Leclerc going down the inside then into the chicane. Jackson not giving this one up at all and might think better to do so. Either way, Leclerc is ahead. Or not for much longer, because Jackson comes straight back up the inside into the first Lesmo. This is where it will start to get difficult for Leclerc to get through, but every time Jackson defends, they get their exit compromised there, and without the DRS, Jackson powerless to defend, and Leclerc moves up to 8th place, but it would have lost time in that fight in doing so. Finally though, JB Bowie might have a look here on Sadistic King, and that could be 3rd place, but by overtaking just before the exit of Parabolica, that might have given Sadistic the DRS here, and Bowie, as quickly as they made the move, they might find themselves on the back foot here. Bowie does still have DRS actually, so does Sadistic. Sadistic might be having a look here, but I'll tell you what, JB Bowie having a little bit of a look there on the Aston Martin of Joffrey, but no moves made just yet. We're watching Swinney behind Scouser, who's behind Sadistic now. Scouser is after the Mercedes. Doesn't look like much of a difference at the moment between the softs and mediums, but you saw the tyre graphic earlier. Expect pit stops to be made on lap 11 for the soft runners. No, not there yet. Halfway through there. Leclerc's next target is P Crazy for 7th place. Wild Dog is not making much of much ground here. I think he's actually going backwards because Kid is now under pressurising, and Wild Dog's still in 11th place. Actually, they've lost a place. Remember, they were 10th earlier. They're down in 11th, so not great at the moment for the Belgian driver. As meanwhile, Melios leads by 2.4 seconds now. And JB Bowie wants to start putting some pressure on the Aston Martin and potentially give chase to the McLaren ahead as well. Bowie wants back-to-back victories. Lost the podium in Japan. Gained a victory in Monaco and now has gained a position on the Aston Martin. And look at Sadistic King as well. Sadistic trying to find a way through. Has to move from one way to the other. Goes down the inside. Wants that 3rd place back. But Joffrey has enough of that Aston Martin ahead to make that to remain in 3rd place. And while that's all happening, Swinney, I thought was going to have a look on Scouser there for 5th place. But at the moment, nothing done there. And Sadistic stays behind for the time being. As Leclerc has caught on to the battle, this battle between these lot. That is Leclerc on P Crazy. I did see someone's delta dropping down, and this was that. Leclerc up to 7th place then, as that is Swinney. This is JB Bowie. Now what has happened as a virtual safety car? Oh, Bowie's lost their front wing. Now I'm not 100% sure what's happened. Bowie has no front wing, and that's a huge shame for them after getting 2nd place. Not 100% sure whether there was contact involved or not, but their entire front wing is gone. Whether they've just run into someone, whether they've hit the barrier, either way, Bowie will be in for a new front wing and pitting a lot earlier than they would have wanted to. iLink's piece has got a drive-through penalty for speeding into the virtual safety car. In comes then the Ferrari, and whilst I'm saying that, Sadistic up into 2nd place, and that is Swinney on Scouser. And look at this, Scouser still not giving up. We should all know Scouser by now doesn't give up like that, and Leclerc wants a piece of the action as well. Joffrey having a look on Sadistic as well, but I think he's going to run out of ERS. Scouser might try and go up the inside here and backs out of it, but Swinney still gives the space. That could open up a move here for Scouser again. The move isn't there, and now they've got to watch their mirrors because Leclerc is right behind them. And all goes wide there, and Leclerc almost runs into the back of them. And fair play, they didn't. And will they make a move here before Ascari chicane? The answer is no. Leclerc is making a habit of these recovery drives, and a gap is open on the inside. Leclerc wants it. And is this Leclerc going down the inside, makes contact then with the AlphaTauri. Leclerc's not been too kind to these AlphaTauris as they've made their way through, but Leclerc up into 5th place now has got Swinney in their sights. This could be where it starts to get a bit more tricky, actually. As Joffrey keeps Sadistic in good company, but I think Joffrey got a better exit there. Soft tyres lasting nicely at the moment. No moves just yet. Leclerc keeping Swinney busy. Melios now has a 3.4 second lead out in front. So all of this fighting between these lot are allowing Melios to get away out in front. Melios, of course, has that 3-second time penalty that they'll take at the end of the race. But the more these lots scrap, the more it benefits the McLaren out in front. This is Swinney and Joffrey. You can see these two sizing each other up. Sadistic there as well. Means the Aston Martin has DRS, so it makes it all the more difficult. Someone's had a spin. That is iLink's piece. And the Alfa Romeo just having a bit of a spin, it seems. Leclerc has got ahead of Swinney as well as that happened, and now is having a look on the Red Bull here, and I tell you what, Leclerc's had a great little bit of traction there and is going wheel to wheel with Joffrey here. They both have DRS here, the straight line speed here, and look at this, Leclerc might have a look on Sadistic as well. They do stick their front wing in, and they are trying it, but not able to make a pass through. Be Crazy ahead of Jackson. Oh, they're dueling away actually, these two. That's Jackson ahead of the Alpine, and the next one will be their teammate. So Leclerc from the back of the field on lap 9 up into the podium places already. Might be second in a minute because Leclerc absolutely pressurising Mercedes of Sadistic King. And look at that, the exit from Leclerc. Leclerc having a much better exit. Well, if someone's having a bit of connection issues, I'm not surprised that's Leclerc actually. But Leclerc has got ahead of the Mercedes up to second place then already. And we're not even halfway into this race. And Leclerc can now look to try and reduce that 4.5 second gap down to Milios out in front. What state will those tyres be in though? That's the big question. But when Leclerc switches to his medium tyres and Milios goes onto the soft tyres, the pendulum will swing round. Meanwhile, this is Jackson on their teammate. They're all in this little train with each other. Wild Dog is up to 9th. That is the Ferrari of Swinney. It's going from bad to worse for them, and also Joffrey as well. Double disaster for Ferrari, but Joffrey getting caught up as well in something. Not sure if there was an incident between them. Either way, they've dropped down to 7 and 8th. As Wild Dog has lost another position, and a little bit of wheel contact there between Kid and Wild Dog. Both go off the track there. Wild Dog really has not had the grip all the race they've wanted. Yes, they're in the top 10. That's ultimately been due to other people's errors though, as Jackson is into 4th place ahead of their teammate. Will Red Bull be eyeing up Wild Dog here and questioning whether there is a future for Wild Dog in the Red Bull team? Super quick driver, but just hasn't been able to deliver on that pace at the moment. Needs to work on that consistency, I think. Leclerc has dropped the gap to 3.5 seconds to Milios, as we've got pit stops coming in. That's Scouser in first. And what tyres will those be? That will be the medium tyres, obviously, we presume. And on they go. And we'll come out into this race, I think just ahead of R28. Swinney pits as well for the medium tyres. So that might start to worry some drivers then, by going early. Or by pit, well, we are in the pit window now, but a slightly early pit stop then for Scouser. Will that force some of the soft runners to pit in response to that, with the threat of the undercut potentially? There's our race leader. Been quite comfortable out in front, although Leclerc is gaining on them. So far for Milios, looking pretty good as well. McLaren, of course, winning ways in Monza last year, of course, with Daniel Ricciardo, as Leclerc does pit then off those soft tyres. Also pitting is P Crazy as well. All the soft runners are now coming in, so their tyres are done, except Moody, of course. Moody wants to go a little bit longer, as we do have a yellow flag in the middle sector there. That was for iLink's piece for a little bit. All fine now. Leclerc comes back out in 8th place behind Zamini once again. So, but a nice gap at the moment to feed Leclerc back through. And for Milios, it's all calm out in front. But has got to obviously be considerate of that 3-second time penalty they got for that first corner runoff. Just outbroke themselves. It's all started to calm down at the moment. Be crazy though. On the back of R28. Of course, R28 has not pitted yet. Be Crazy just has. So you imagine, with the Alpine versus the Williams, plus the tyre difference, should be fair game for the Alpine. R28 is defending the inside line though, and fair play. But eventually gets ahead, although P Crazy did have to go wide. That's R28 round. Little bit of oversteer, but either way, comes back out onto the track, but gets out of the way for the quicker Snipe Hunter and Swinney. Avoids off the racing line there. Moody pits then off those soft tyres, so all drivers on the medium tyres now. Leclerc has immediately caught up to Zamini as well. See there, that's the pace difference between these two. And it should be a fairly straightforward move here for Leclerc. And round the Curva Grande, they're making a habit of that move, to be honest, aren't they? But Leclerc ahead and up into 6th place. They've got some nice clear air out in front. Or their former teammate is the next car ahead. Of course, they haven't pitted yet. Probably won't pit until about lap 16 or so. So whether or not Leclerc will catch them or not, we shall see. JB Bowie has got the McLaren of Kid behind them. Bowie is fighting a McLaren, but probably not the one they wanted to. Not 100% sure what happened to them, but either way, huge shame for them. Swinney up ahead of Sniper Hunter as well. You see there the pace difference between these two. Bowie, of course, 5 lap older, medium tyres. You can see their kids backed out there, just so they can get the DRS. Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the race. Milios having a very solid gap to Sadistic, almost 8 seconds. This is Kid on Bowie, and it pulls to the inside line, and as straightforward as you get, Kid up into 11th place. Saw there Joffrey having a look on P Crazy as well. Oh, and that is Bowie having another spin. Goes rear first into the curb there, and whether or not they were slightly off put by the McLaren there, not sure. Either way, this is R28 having a look on Moody, but that's a bit of late braking there from Moody. Keeps ahead as well. Moody using all the grip on those tyres already. Good bit of late braking there, but either way, Swinney's race going from bad to worse at the moment. Meanwhile, Jackson now almost within DRS range. As that's Bowie out, and now we got a safety car. And Wild Dog straight in as they saw that as well. Leclerc stays out. Warrior pits then. So this works perfectly for the medium runners then. And Wild Dog doesn't get held up here by the Alpine. Now, Leclerc will catch the field up, but top 3 as Kid gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now, does this give Milios an opportunity to pit and come out ahead of the rest of the field then? Milios, of course, will have to go for the soft tyres, much like everybody else. Swinney stopping again as well. To be on the soft compound tyres. R28, interestingly, goes onto the hard tyres, not the soft tyres. That's an interesting one. The rest on soft tyres. I imagine the top 3 will be making a pit stop here. And in goes the race leader. And let's see if they'll stay that way. I imagine these two will be joining Melios. They both do indeed go in. Leclerc, then you can see, just kept about to come through Parabolica under safety car Delta, and I believe that should... You can see there, Leclerc coming down the back straight here. And they're going to... Oh, no, Leclerc is in the pit, sorry. So Leclerc is going to move off those. And that's a smart play there by Leclerc. Doesn't want to be on the medium tyres. Wants to be on the same tyres everyone else is on. So Melios retains the lead of this race. Leclerc will drop down the field though, because others have stayed out. Leclerc, will they get out ahead of the Alpine? The answer is yes, they will. Leclerc then drops to 7th place then. Joffrey up to 6th. Wild Dog up to 5th. So the Red Bulls 5th and 7th at the moment. It's not too bad. And they're on the same tyres as most of the top runners. Medium runners, of course, they'll have track position, but you imagine they might be easy pickings for the soft runners. Melios then leads the way, as they have done throughout the entire race. They've led all 16 laps at the moment. It's been not too bad for them so far. We should actually mention as well the championship standings, whilst we've got a minute, as we wait for the pack to all catch up. If it wants to load for me, that would be nice. You know, technology working and all that. Let me find standings. There we are then. So Leclerc leads then by 15 points. That stands at the moment. Jackson would gain on that that lead as well. Bowie wouldn't. Of course, Bowie in 3rd place in the championship at the moment. 2 podiums. Sorry, no it's not. It's the 1 win at the moment. 2 DNFs though alongside that. As Isaac's piece, a little bit of a way to catch the field. Down in 16th place. Surprised it's gone into the medium tyres. Would have thought they would have tried the soft tyres, but yeah, either way. Leclerc though will have to pass their teammate again at some point. How compliant will Wild Dog be to do that? And what will Wild Dog's pace look like at the moment? When they were on their first stint on the mediums, they weren't going anywhere really except backwards, so got a good opportunity here for Wild Dog to show what they can do. So, we'll see. Safety car will be going once again. But I presume... Oh, no, it won't. We'll be in this lap, so late call then. So Melios doesn't have a lot of time to back the field up. So late call there. Leclerc drops back a little bit. As we are underway. Bit late there from them, but we're back under racing. Melios already on the defensive then from Sadistic. Sadistic pulling out to the right-hand side. And at the moment, Melios able to defend that position. You can see Leclerc jostling away with Joffrey. But Joffrey losing out there as a result of that. Will Melios feel a bit cheated out by the safety car's lateness? Either way, They're in the lead at the moment. Remember, they've got that 3-second time penalty looming over them. 2 Red Bulls alongside each other. Will they play nice with each other, or will Leclerc have to work for it as Moody has had a spin and back out very quickly, so no damage it seems. Will Leclerc dispatch of their teammate? Be crazy. Trying to have a look here as Wild Dog catches and has a look on the Alpine, who goes a bit wide for Ascari. Wild Dog's got an opportunity here, and in fact Leclerc might be having a look on both of them actually. No slipstream for Wild Dog. Leclerc might back out here. Wild Dog has got ahead though, as this is look at this is Jackson and Sadistic. Jackson having the inside line for Ascari and up into 3rd place. These two moving ahead as well, but this is Leclerc now about to pass their teammate at the moment. They're going wheel to wheel at the moment. Doesn't look like Wild Dog's giving up just yet, but eventually realises the gap will close on them, and Leclerc up to 4th place then as they pursue another podium. Jackson, can they catch Melios for the race lead? Remember, of course, with Melios' 3-second time penalty plays into the hands of Jackson here, but Leclerc is rapidly closing in on them as well. Jackson, who started 2nd, dropped down at the start to 10th, made a good recovery so far. Can they finish it off with a race victory? As Leclerc tries to catch Statistic. DRS, of course, for the first until the end of the 2nd lap, of course. Moody did go into the pits as well for a change of tyres and possibly front wing to go with it. And they're all scrapping away there. Sadistic still closing in on the AlphaTauri. As Emilio sets the fastest of the race, here comes Sadistic, gaining on the AlphaTauri. And Sadistic there lifts off there. Interesting. That's allowed Leclerc to close in on them as well. Joffrey, even look at Warrior. This is Scouser. Late braking. Gets the move done on the Alfa Romeo of Zamini, but Zamini going to come back here. Doesn't really have the momentum or speed to do so on this approach. Leclerc with their teammate close behind as well. Let's have a look on these two. Sadistic, of course, having DRS on Jackson. Doesn't help Leclerc at all. Got a yellow flag again. That might be for the Alfa Romeo of Zamini, and a front wing gone, and the virtual safety car has been deployed. And Zamini. Now Zamini has retired from the session. Not really supposed to do that. Needs to go back into the pits and retire. So Zamini could get another penalty actually. Interestingly there. Not supposed to retire on track, of course. We'll see if the stewards do anything about that. So virtual safety car's out for a second time then. Right, we're back under racing then. As Warrior has got past their teammate then. Soft tyres against the medium tyres. No brainer really. As meanwhile this is Sadistic. Under pressure from Leclerc. And this looks fairly straightforward. Now will Leclerc wait until they've got DRS. You see they're both fighting for it there. Sadistic still on the inside. And Leclerc up to third place. I can tell you Zamini is very unhappy. But I can guarantee there's a penalty coming their way for a retirement on track. Sadistic tries to go around the outside of turn 1, but not able to make the pass just yet. There's Swinny having a look on P Crazy. I tell you what, might be looking for a move around the curb of Grande, but P Crazy parks that Alpine very nicely. And in 7th place for them. Leclerc having a look on Jackson now, after disposing of Sadistic. And we've got another yellow flag. That is for Moody now. And the Mercedes driver struggling, as Swinny has passed P Crazy. Leclerc, and that is Wild Dog up to 4th place as well. This is a good drive at the moment from Wild Dog. Both Red Bulls doing very nicely at the moment. Leclerc then sizing up Jackson. I think Jackson knows it as well. And Leclerc for a second time passes the AlphaTauri. And up into 2nd place, breezes past the Sadistic. Returns the compliment on Wild Dog. And back past the Red Bull. There you go. And Wild Dog has to try again. Meanwhile, down behind, the three-way battle here between, this is Joffrey, Be Crazy, and there's Scouser behind as well. And Scouser getting ahead of P Crazy. Crazy breaks a little later. Keeps the position there. So holding on to that 10th place. And actually having a go on Joffrey as well. Down in 9th place at the moment for them. And P Crazy there and thereabouts. Leclerc now within DRS range of Melios. Melios of course has that 3-second penalty. And Melios, who has led every lap of this Grand Prix so far, but I think could be in danger here, as we've got another spinner. That is P Crazy out. Is that going to be a safety car potentially? Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the race. Melius will be desperate for a safety car here just to eliminate the DRS potentially. Wild Dog finally gets ahead of Sadistic once again. 4th place for them. Can Wild Dog get a podium here and make it a double Red Bull podium at the moment? But Melius with that 3-second penalty looming over them. If it was to end like this, as Scouser is retired as well. That's in the pit, so that's all fine. So definitely no safety car there. But with that 3-second time penalty looming over at the moment, Wild Dog could be on a position to get a podium. DRS enabled then. Can Leclerc? Well, Leclerc realistically doesn't really need to make a pass here. Unless they pick up a 3-second time penalty themselves. I mean, as you can see there is weaving. They still want to try and cross the line first. But Melius might think it's wiser to let Leclerc go. Try and build a gap up as much as they can. And Melius is trying everything here to keep the lead of the race. Fair play. Runs out of ERS as well, down the back straight. See the difference as well. Leclerc's got plenty of spare in the tank as well. Wild Dog is right on the back of Jackson as well. Could be looking at a possible Red Bull 1-2 here. But with 3 laps to go, including this one, it's hanging in the balance. That's a Ferrari, I think, who's had an issue. That's Swinny. Gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Ferrari's day has turned into really a nightmare, hasn't it? Good qualifying from both of them, but just really hasn't gone anywhere there. Milios went wide through the second Lesmo. Can Leclerc find a way through? Will they think of a move down into Ascari? They think better of it. They backed out there, as you saw. So Wild Dog continuing to apply pressure on Jackson here as well for third place. Leclerc, once again, you can see them. They're both scrapping away for the DRS. Leclerc even downshifting as well. They'll be losing time as a result of that. Keep an eye on both of these. Leclerc then. DRS enabled. Milios trying to break the toe here. Will Leclerc try and go around the outside? Wild Dog ahead of Jackson then. Up to third place then. With the penalties as they are. That's a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment. And at this rate, Milios won't even be on the podium. That first corner runoff is going to cost them massively as a result. And Milios has driven such a good race, but that one little error at the start is going to hurt them later on. Yellow flag in sector 1, and I think that's a R28 is at in a slight moment there. See as well, Leclerc being very cautious, not taking any risks at all. Knows the win is there. Doesn't need to really risk it and get themselves in trouble with that 3-second time penalty. Milios can't really do much here unless Leclerc picks one up themselves. And again, Milios knows it. We're on the final lap here. I don't think Milios can hold on here. And Leclerc gets ahead on the final lap then. And Leclerc up into the lead of this race. And Milios, after their really good Italian Grand Prix, their lead comes to an end then. And they'll have to settle, well, I'd say second place at the moment. Wild Dog 2.6 seconds behind. Jackson's still having a potential look on the Red Bull. Could come back for another go. But this will be a good result for Wild Dog and a great recovery as well. And that's Milios who spun. Milios on the final lap has got caught on the they've got caught on the curb. We heard this before earlier. I think it's their teammate who got stuck before, and Milios is stuck, and they will tumble down the order. That's a shame for them, and has been disqualified as well. What a huge shame for them. After such a good run, they don't even finish as a result of that. Leclerc, though, a superb race from them once again. They started 17th on the grid. They will come across the line, and the championship leader will go ahead and win the Italian Grand Prix. Wild Dog will come home to make it a Red Bull 1-2. Jackson on the podium as well, just holding off against Sadistic King. Warrior will finish in 5th place, ahead of Swinney, ahead of Kid. Joffrey will finish in 8th place, ahead of iLinksP. Snipe Hunter rounds out the top 10, and R28 and Moody rounds out the final 12 finishers. iLinksP actually moves up to 8th place after penalties. Joffrey down in 9th. But what a race from Leclerc. And what a race result for Red Bull as well. Well, good mention to Wild Dog as well. Good run by them. What a shame for that in turn 1. But Leclerc driver of the day, rightly deserved. And I believe Milios and Joffrey at that turn 1 got hit by someone behind. Either way, though. We'll see. It's a Red Bull 1-2. So, to run you through then, Leclerc, first place and fastest lap as well from 17th. Awesome from them. 10th to 2nd for Wild Dog. Both Red Bulls having a great race there. Jackson 3rd then for AlphaTauri. Honda 1, 2 and 3. Sadistic 4th. Warrior 5th. 26th. Kid in 7th ahead of iLinks Peace. Joffrey 9th. And Sniper Hunter in 10th place. The two Aston Martin in the top 10. R28 and Moody are the final runners. Scouser, P Crazy, Zamini, Bowie and Melios have a DNF against them. Melios getting a disqualification. And that is it then. That's it for this race. And we'll see where they all are next week. I'm just trying to find where we are next week. And it is in Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We'll see how they all fare then. But thank you all so much for watching. We will see you again next week. Take care.